What a wonderful array of products. Our next speaker, our third speaker, is going to be evaluated by and introduced by Fabiola Cleofa. Fabiola?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the meeting. Toastmaster Lisa-Ann is currently the president of this prestigious Wadlatli Toastmasters Club, and she has served as a club officer since 2019. She joined Toastmaster to improve her public speaking skills, but as byproduct, she found the leadership opportunities that provided her many opportunities to grow and develop as a leader. Taking on the path innovative planning, she's doing a high-performance leadership project. This gives her the opportunity to put a plan together, take on a guidance committee, and guide a team to implement this project. Today, her second speech on this project, she's going to share with us some of the learnings of her experience doing this project. Let's welcome Toastmaster Lisa-Ann with the delivery in 5 to 7 minutes of her speech titled Wadlatli Toastmasters Club Open House. Wadlatli Toastmasters Club Open House, Toastmaster Lisa-Ann.
Okay.
Let's welcome Lisa-Ann.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. Susan Jeffers has a book and a quote that says, "Feel the fear and do it anyways." Now that, to me, defines a high-performance leader, doesn't really define a high-performance leadership product, but that is something I have to keep in mind when I think of a high-performance leadership product. I think of when I first saw a high-performance leadership project as a path option. To me, it was a moving beast with multiple parts that would consume me. Good evening, Madam Toastmasters, distinguished Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. On April 19th, the Wadlatli Toastmasters Club hosted an open house. But it wasn't just an open house, it was our first meeting since March 2020. We wanted to let the Antiguan public know that we were still here and we were a viable option every first and third Wednesdays of the month if someone wanted to join a Toastmasters Club. Now, you know what they say in Toastmasters, never waste an opportunity. So when the opportunity came to host an open house, I jumped right in. This would give me a chance to serve my club, an opportunity to grow and to have a new experience. Now, the whole point of doing an open house was not only to have a great experience, but we had an objective in mind. We needed to increase our membership because our Toastmaster family was getting really, really small. As our members who were holding on with us were leaving, they were letting us know. They were waiting for us to go back to face-to-face meetings. And since we were not doing that, they are going to take some time off and call them when we're ready to go back to face-to-face or hybrid situation. No one cared for Zoom meetings. No matter how you convince them, it's a new experience, try it out. They didn't want to hear it. Even some of our guests, they liked the face-to-face. So that meant that we needed to put together a team of people and do our open house. And that's exactly what I did. I first formed my guidance committee that I'm going to call my dream team. It had, of course, my vice president of membership, who dealt with our members and recruiting. It had my vice president of education, who not only would support the vice member of membership, but she, in her previous Toastmaster experience last year, she hosted the open house. So she was a wealth of knowledge and experience. Then, since this was a face-to-face meeting, I had to find myself a Toastmaster that knew all about how to set up the room for face-to-face, and I invited Toastmaster Annetta Simon-Williams to do just that. And of course, no committee can be in place without a mentor, someone that was seasoned and had experience. And I invited Toastmaster Francois Bowen to serve as our mentor. Now we had our dream team. It's time to put our game plan into action. First things first, location, location, location. We wanted a location in the heart of town that anyone could find easily, and we also needed it to be free. Then the next thing we had to worry about is, how do we get those butts in seats? We needed to make sure that the general public knew that we were here and how to find us. Our options were social media, ABS TV, and of course our radio stations that were happy to help us promote. And of course our role players, oh boy, our role players. We all know sometimes it's hard to even get them for Zoom meetings. So since we no longer had our external family to support us, how are we going to get this job done? So we had to situate and put this all together. Now, we would all like to believe that things is like Dorothy and Toto skipping down the yellow brick road. But you know, a flying monkey always shows up. So again, there were challenges. Our first challenge was communication. My dream team was so much of a dream, it was hard to get them in one location. But we got creative with our approach. We used WhatsApp conference call, we used the WhatsApp chat, we did some Zoom meetings, and we kept in contact constantly. The location, we had an ideal location because a member had offered a location right next to our old location when we did face-to-face meeting. The building right next door where she worked had a little conference room, but the problem was we had difficulty setting a meeting so we could make the necessary arrangements and find out if it was possible, and I could get a chance to visit the room to see if it was big enough to serve the purpose. I eventually did, but unfortunately, she was going on vacation, so we had to push forward our meeting to another date. Then, of course, public relations, oh my gosh. Just when we had momentum going and I started to book our time on ABS TV and radio, my boss showed up and put a wrench in the works. He sent me out on a workshop that used up my mornings, my afternoons, and even my evenings. And of course, the person who would be assisting me in these ventures was not comfortable going by herself, and the other ladies on such short notice could not get the time off. So that meant that we had to scratch that, and hopefully our word of mouth and our social media will do the job. Then, of course, there were role players. Our team now only has 11 members. And even though I primed them and let them know way ahead of time, so if they wanted to, they could adjust their schedule where necessary, I lost a few members to delivering speeches. And then some of them just, you know, life happens and they were unable to support. So then I had to throw myself on the sword and ask members from the external family. But you know, as Toastmasters, they always show up. What do they say? Toastmasters always just say yes. As Toastmaster Cassandra says, just say yes. And that's what they did. The event to me was a great success. It wasn't perfect, but it did the job it was meant to do. We had 6 visitors. One of them were underage, but we're going to keep him interested in Toastmasters, and we're now working on incorporating the other 5 into our club. This was such a great meeting that the one time that we're given for our location, the person says she will definitely work on her boss so that we could get it every month. Plus, she was going to allow us to work out the dynamics to make it hybrid. So some of our other members who could only do it on Zoom would be able to participate. Now, this was a high performance leadership project. So that meant that my peers had to evaluate me. And through the evaluation process, I learned that I'd accomplished all my goals, and in some instances, I excelled in all the attributes that was on the survey, which would be communication, leadership, motivation, team building, prioritization, and conflict management. But the one thing that crept up was something that was said to me on my first 360-degree survey. Trust that I could do it. Sometimes when things weren't going right, I kind of let it affect me, but I made the necessary adjustments and I got the team back up and rolling. So the person reminded me that even though I thought I wasn't doing well, I was doing the job the best I know how at that moment. This was a great beginning. Why I say this is a great beginning? Because even though I conquered this monster, I'm definitely gonna have to go up to bat again. And I know that next time I will improve on what I did this time because I faced my fears and I did it anyways. Back over to you, Madam Toastmaster of the evening.
Wow. That was a courageous project. I'm just working on a high performance myself, and it takes a lot of people working together to get that happening.
Toastmaster Fabiola Cleopa, and she will evaluate our speaker, Lisa-Ann Yearwood. Toastmaster Lisa-Ann Yearwood. Thank you.
Thank you, General Evaluator. I faced my fear and did it anyway by tackling the high performance leadership project, which was a moving beast with multiple parts that would eat me. Wow, I love that. You really caught my attention with all that. Yeah, the last part was you finish it, but you started also to let us know your fear and also how you saw the high performance leadership. What I liked also the usage of your slides. They were vibrant and refreshing. It really gave me what I needed to see, and it wasn't distracting, but it really caught my attention. This project, you also engage us in listening to you with your enthusiasm and the way that you use your language to communicate with us. All those made it a great speech and very interesting because you gave us a lot. Actually, the project asked from you to share with us your experience. You did in the first part, tell us detailed about how you came about doing this. For instance, you told us why you started this project because of the need of membership. Those items would have been in your first speech. What would have been better in this speech was to tell us when you had your team put together and you had a somewhat a dream team because you could not get them. Tell us your experience, how you got about to get them together and still make it to a very successful project, which you did tell us because it was you saw the results, and it also was something that you say, I learned so much from that I'm going to do it again. And all that part of what you learned, which was half of what you were talking about, you started when your light was red, almost red already. So instead of giving all the first part of what it was all about, go into highlighting those parts, give us what you thought about it and what you have learned. So all along, a very engaging speech, usage of PowerPoint very well, and also giving us the learnings. You could do that, but remember your timing. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.